Hey guys, welcome to another video from myself, Fraser. Welcome to my channel. Here we are. We're going to be doing a little flight using this helicopter. Just having a little look around. As you can see, this is just a voiceover for this video because my mic wasn't working. But yeah, just having a little play around with the really cool walk feature, the exploring feature in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. As you can see, I'm just opening up all the doors, but we're going to go for a wee flight to one of my favourite places in my old hometown of Rotorua. We're going to go fly to Kaharoa Forest using this Airbus helicopter. We started here in Rotorua Airport, so we're just doing, as you can see, we're doing a little walk around, just playing around with this really cool feature. It's a shame that not all of the aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 have this in-depth detail. But yeah, just walking around, just exploring. But yeah, we'll be heading off very shortly once we've completed all of this, and we're going to head off to a place called Kaharoa Forest, which is halfway between Rotorua and Tauranga, which is on the coast. If you're not familiar, Rotorua is very close to, it's part of the Bay of Plenty for a reason. It's only a short hop, skip and a jump to the beach from here. It's in the plateau. You'll definitely notice it if you're ever from Rotorua or you been here for a number of times. Up here it's usually pretty cool in Rotorua. It's part of the loosely part of the plateau that Taupo and Mount Ruapehu, Narohoe and Tongariro sit on, and the central plateau, and this is right on the edge of the plateau. And when you go down into the Bay of Plenty, into the towards the beach, you'll notice the temperature rising by a couple of degrees, and it's very noticeable too. But yeah, we're just fiddling around with this helicopter, going to get it all started up. This is not like a tutorial or anything like that, but yeah, just getting it all set up, and we will be heading off very shortly. we finally got this helicopter off the ground, and we are heading towards Kaharoa Forest, where I'll take you for a wee walk and show you guys, if you ever come to Rotorua, this is a real top place to go and check out, and I'll explain to you more when we get there, but I'm not very familiar with helicopters, but I do my best. But yeah, taking off, flying over Hamarana Springs here, which is a beautiful spot of the lake. If you ever want to check out this part of Lake Rotorua, it's a really nice lake, really nice part of the lake. Lake Rotorua is a very safe lake too. It's very shallow. Lake Rotorua is a very shallow lake by nature. You can almost walk out to the island that you see in the lake, which we'll fly over soon. It's that shallow. It does drop off eventually, but apart from that, there are spots around the lake which are reasonably deep, but in general this lake is a very shallow lake. As we're just exploring along the northern shoreline of Lake Rotorua, that island is Mokoia Island, which is quite a iconic island, not just Rotorua in general, but for all of Aotearoa, New Zealand. It's a source of lots of like legends and myths and love stories. I'm not familiar with them off the top of my head, so I won't do any like. All I know is there's a love story, like the chief and the daughter lived on this island, and actually I don't know the myth off by heart, so I'm not going to rattle it off. I'll do a bit more research onto that, but I do know it in my head, but I just can't find the words. But yeah, this is Mokoia Island. It's you can do little day trips to the island. It's a little predator-proof island sanctuary for a lot of our rare birds. I believe they're kiwi on the island. There were stitched bird, but they didn't do too well. They're a stitched bird here. They're a very rare bird that are only found in a few locations in New Zealand, and there's also saddleback that are doing quite well on the island apparently. But yeah, it's a little a very iconic island in Rotorua. As I mentioned, it used to have the local Te Arawa tribe used to live on the island, and it's got a bit of a very interesting past. I've done a few tours on the island, and it's a really interesting place. Not a place I want to be at there at night time. Apparently it's quite apparently they always find bones and skulls and all the rest of it. It's been an island that's had a few wars fought over it way back in the day, like the 18th century, or since Maori inhabited this part of the North Island here in Rotorua. Rotorua is one of the more older, if not one of the oldest places for that regarding like Maori history here, because one of the canoes, one of the voyages from the islands, this is one of the very first places that was discovered, and as you could see, Rotorua is just a hop, skip and a jump from the ocean. Just trying to load up Navigraph charts now just to give you an idea. I'm not too sure how to do these videos properly by putting in like Google Maps, but giving an idea about where this place is, where we're going. As you can sort of see, the water masking is pretty good around this part of the world. The water masking is pretty hit and miss in most places, but it gives you an idea on how shallow this lake is. Like, you could easily walk out, sort of wade out up to it. For me, being 5'11", I could wade out to there. But yeah, this is the road heading out. This is what we call the back road to Tauranga, which is just over in the distance there. This is how you get to Kaharoa Forest. It's a really, really cool little bushwalk in some of our beautiful native forest. Not quite virgin forest, but they've got some pretty big trees there, and it's also one of the very few places where you can reliably see a very unique bird called the kokako, which is a blue bird, about, I guess, larger than a blackbird. Blue bird, beautiful blue bird with bright blue wattles and It's famous for its beautiful melodic, haunting. You could almost say it's like a whale song in that sort of haunting, beautiful, touching sort of category. It's a very beautiful bird, and it's a very elusive bird too. It predominantly lives high up in the canopies, and they, unfortunately, with a lot of our birds, when Europeans arrive, like the Maoris, when they arrived, they definitely sent shockwaves through our ecology, our bird life, our lizard life, our forest, and all the rest of it through modification of the land and bringing dogs and rats, which eventually there was a bit of a balance. Rats and dogs still devastated local bird life, but it was what the Europeans brought with them that just took the devastation to a whole new level regarding stoats, cats, and ship rats and Norwegian rats, which could climb the trees and get right up into the canopy, and especially stoats absolutely devastated a lot of our bird life, and was the one thing that finally pushed them into a number of our species into extinction, sadly. But thankfully a few of our species lasted just enough for when humans became a bit more conservation minded. They realised that they needed to save these species, and thankfully the Kokako was one of those species that was lucky. I think in real life I would have been sweating like hell, thinking, oh, that's my flight over. But yeah, Kokako were one of those species that were absolutely devastated, the populations, by stoats, basically mustelids, ferrets and weasels were the other species that were brought out here, along with rats and cats, of course, and they all got into the forest, created absolute havoc and devastation on our ecology. Unfortunately, I couldn't get Google Maps to, I don't know how to do that, but I'll give you an idea on where Kaharoa. It's a very, you can Google it and you'll be able to find directions on how to get there. But this is exploring. This is like the edge of the plateau. As you can see in the distance, there is the ocean, the Bay of Plenty, and this is on the edge of the plateau, which steadily drops down into sea level, and with it the temperatures rise quite a bit. But yeah, the Kokako, their populations absolutely plummeted, and thankfully there were really early conservationists that realised that they had to do something, so they did something and created areas where they did trapping and laying poison baits and whatnot to cull the not so much cull, but keep on top of the rats, the stoats, and the cats in these ecological pockets that are still remaining. And they also translocate them into, so New Zealand has lots of islands scattered all around the country, and they've become great useful tools of, because they're small, you can eradicate all of the pest species on the island, and then you translocate populations of various rare and endangered birds, and they create nice little arcs. Well, the conservationists do their best to try and suppress the numbers on the mainland. In some areas like Kaharoa Forest and some species, the Kokako, can survive in very, very low numbers of stoats and cats and all of those other nasties that can really play havoc on the species. But there are species of bird like the hihi, which is stitch bird, and the saddleback, which are almost exclusively ground birds, or forage right on the ground, and they're very susceptible to these species, and they can't survive without total predator-free control. But yeah, I'm just flying around aimlessly at the moment, trying to look for this Kaharoa forest. I tried using my, because I don't live here anymore, I was trying to just use my general knowledge, but I'm going to resort to using the, on the Navigraph charts, the great feature where you can use Google, effectively satellite view, Google Maps. But yeah, flying over this beautiful area, this is the Kaharoa, this region is called Kaharoa itself, and it's a really lovely spot in Rotorua. There's really cool, a lot of people have lifestyle blocks. There's farming of course around here. What we flew over before was definitely a milking shed, so farming is really productive up there, but a lot of people are buying, like, they call them lifestyle blocks, where they can have a few animals, and the climate is actually pretty good. You do get that cool southerly off the lake, which comes from the Antarctica, but you're close enough to the ocean there where you get that sort of a nice warm humid ocean breeze as well. That is a bit of a microclimate up here. I do believe there are little pockets where people can grow different plants that you can't grow in many other locations, especially in Rotorua, like macadamia nuts and tamarillos and guavas and various trees and plants that you sort of need a warmer climate to be able to grow. But this is one of those places where it's a bit of a microclimate, you can grow a lot of things up there, so that's why it's quite, I dare say, attractive to a lot of people who don't want a big farm, but they just want something they can just say they live off the land and grow some vegetables and whatnot. And as you can see, I'm still lost, still trying to find my way, but I have discovered these little agricultural airports, like runway airstrips you could say. As you can see, this is one I'm flying over now, which I will definitely do some flying around here, pretending I'm a top dresser pilot. So you can New Zealand is covered with these little airstrips. Some of them are like nuclear level, like steep angles with some pretty incredible terrain, incredible drop-offs and all the rest of it all around it. The top dressing pilots in New Zealand are some of the best pilots in the world, just through the like I mentioned, that's one of the little airstrips there. Some of these airstrips are on nuclear level inclines, very technical areas. But yeah, definitely need to get the top dressing plane out and pretend I'm a top dresser pilot and fly around here, as I'm still flying around aimlessly trying to look for this for the Kaharoa Forest. But I'll skip forward a little. Actually, I might have found where I'm might have found where I'm aiming towards. This is coming up to the Kaharoa Forest now, which is, yeah, like I mentioned before, it's a real top destination to go to if you want to do something that's different. A nice little bushwalk, is it? And now along, you know you're heading the right way, because we're now flying over, we'll be flying past if you're driving this in real life, there'd be like a little Department of Conservation pull-off area with a hut-like structure with information about the Kakapo, which is what I think we're flying over now. I think this is the location. But we're definitely flying over some really nice forest here. And I think this is where I might have realised I was in the wrong place, so we'll see in due course. I'm just going to try something. Yeah, I think we are flying over the right place here. So right there is the actual track. Flying the helicopter is actually quite fun. I do enjoy it. It's a nice wee challenge. So this is where I got up to, trying to use my using a bit of like VFR flying, just trying to follow my memories kind of thing, and then I realised I need to do it properly and find the actual location. I have to say I'm getting better at the landing and whatnot of the helicopters. They're very twitchy things, as you can see. Right, what do I do now? I think I go into my maps and I'm just going to use satellite imagery, as you can see, just to make sure I'm in the right place. So that where my mouse is there, I believe that's the this is where I zoom out just to make sure I follow the right road. I came in from the right street. I'm just trying to look for State Highway 2, the State Highway 36 I believe it's called, the highway between Rotorua and Tauranga, the back highway. And this is where I probably think I'm the wrong place. So yeah, this is the road I'm following. You go past, this is Kaharoa, you go past a school, you know you're in the right way when you go past, that's the school there, then you turn left up this road and that's the road that takes you to Kaharoa Forest. It's a real nice country road. The road is pretty decent. It takes about 30 minutes to get out there. Coming along through here, and yeah, that's where the little dock facility is, where my mouse is there, where you can read about the Kokako. And then just here, that little bit there, so I've come a bit too far there, but it's not an official car park. Actually, no, I got it wrong. So that bit there, that's where you pull over and you park properly. That's like the official car park, where there's a little hut and the little information board about the Kokako, and then you walk along this road. So you park there. It's a big parking area. Then you walk along this country road to this little clearing here. There is enough room to park 2 cars, and if you chance it and you drive up there and there's a park, you can park there. So I'm just going to move the helicopter closer for all intended purposes. Of course, this is Flight Simulator, it's not exactly like Google Maps, and this is just giving me a chance just to get a bit more proficient with my helicopter flying. So that highway between Rotorua and Tauranga, we call it the back road. It's State Highway 33, which is a really nice road, but it's got some pretty cool little hairpins and corners, so I'm getting right close here, getting as close as I can to where the actual beginning of the walk starts. And as I mentioned, where I showed you on the mouse just before, that's where you park properly. That's got a big car parking area there, and it's got a really cool information board about the Kokako and about this forest and the history. And then you walk along this little road. It's probably about 10 minutes to walk to where the track begins properly. But if you chance it, like I said, there's enough room for 2 vehicles, and if you're there early and there's no one there, you can park there. And yeah, it's amazing. It's a really cool forest walk. You get to see some really beautiful forest and trees, and if you're lucky, you'll be able to hear Kokako there if you get there first thing in the morning. In New Zealand we call it the dawn chorus, so that's when all of our beautiful birds start calling and whatnot, a bit like you have in the UK or anywhere around the world. And here we are, we've got off our helicopter now. We're going to head on down into the forest, or as we call it in New Zealand, head off into the bush. And I'll start showing you a little footage that I took when I was here last year when I came back to New Zealand to visit family. Here we are. The sound is not quite like this. I've just used some recordings, but it is like, if you're here on a good day, you can get a lot of these bird calls, so you can hear in the background tuis, starbirds, robin, tomtit if you're lucky, and if you're very lucky you'll hear Kokako here. But this is what New Zealand forest sounds like, especially if it's really well protected bird life. But this forest is a pretty cool forest. It's got really good, there's a silver fern there. It's got a good example of sort of this forest that you find around this part of the country. Lots of cool, the predominant trees you hear are tawa trees, which produce big berries, which pigeons and Rotorua and Kokako like. It's a forest that sort of transitions between like the inland forest and the coastal forest, so you get a few like coastal species of tree found around here. If you're here on like a sort of a misty, damp day, this would be really cool. It really brings out the ferns and the mosses alive. But yeah, this is such a cool forest. It's an hour walk. Really highly worth it. Highly recommend it. You walk down to this little stream and then you come back again. And yeah, there's about 50 pairs. There's about 200 odd Kokako in this little block of native forest, so you've got a good chance of seeing them. Not seeing them, but you'll have a good. I mean, you've got probably a better chance than anywhere in New Zealand and seeing Kokako here if you're patient. If you come first thing in the morning, you'll be able to hear them through their beautiful call. And they're just looking up into the canopy. Yeah, it's such a beautiful forest. Everyone, you need to do this if you're in Radeon, you're in the area, even Tauranga, and you love your bird life. This is a really beautiful place to come. So most of these tall trees, most of it is predominantly tawa trees, which is one of our large trees that you'll find in our forest. They produce big purple berries that birds love here. And there's like here for trees which are our giant trees, our tallest trees. Maybe I think there might have been a mirror tree. So the trees that are in here are your Canada second generation tree species here that you'll find in New Zealand. And all of the understory. This is a cool place to find a really cool tree that I love. It's called the Koe tree. It produces these very really cool flowers that have a beautiful. See, if you look up there, that's you've got southern northern rata vines. Those big vines up there, they're from a basically what do you call it? Parasitic tree. It starts life as an epiphyte high up in the it's a rata too, 'cause it's got that bright orange. That's what a kokako sounds like too. I just found a recording, so it's very haunting, really melodic. But yeah, that's a northern rata tree or a vine. So that's a tui that you'll see in the forests around here. Very beautiful bird. That's what I took when I lived on Middlebury Island. Such an iconic bird. And the next photo will be a kiruru, which is our pigeon, our New Zealand forest pigeon, which you'll see a lot around this part. And this next photo is the photo I took of the kokako, so that's what they look like. Really beautiful birds. And there's bellbirds and robins here. It's a really cool place. And yeah, the northern rata, it starts life as an epiphyte, then it eventually sends down like a runner or a vine down to the ground, and then it secures into the ground, and then eventually over 700 years it will wrap right around the host tree, and eventually some people say it strangles it, but other scientists say that the tree probably dies within that time frame anyway, and it becomes this really interesting tree, and they flower through the summertime with beautiful red flowers, which our nectar feeding birds love. But yeah, I'll let you guys enjoy this little bush walk, and I'll get back to you soon. And here are some more birds, some more photos I've taken. There's one of the kiruru and cicada, which you hear a lot in the summer. A little fantail. And another photo for kiruru, just to show you the beautiful colours, the wood pigeon. And this is the North Island robin, which is a very friendly little bird that will come up to you if you're disturbed in the ground. Yeah, some of the birds that you'll definitely find in this forest here. And if you're here in the summertime, you'll definitely hear cicadas. They are absolutely a pain in the bum sometimes. They're so loud with their sounds that they do. But yeah, no, this is an awesome place, man. You definitely need to come check out Kaharoa Forest, and it's only like a little hour walk, but it's very, very beautiful, very well worth it, and you'll hear some incredible bird life when you come here.